Hey everyone, this is Mr. K coming at you with video number 19 of the Precalculus summer homework, the Pythagorean Theorem. The most important thing with the Pythagorean Theorem is knowing how to figure out where your C goes. Your C is always the hypotenuse, which is always directly across from the right angle, so those are going to be our C's. And so then it's just using the Pythagorean Theorem, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and then solving for whatever side you don't know. So in this case, we don't know c, so we're going to have 7 squared plus 10 squared, and a and b do not matter at all. If I had this as 10 squared plus 7 squared, it's still going to be the same exact thing. It's still going to equal my c squared. 7 squared is 49, 10 squared is 100, so this would be 149 is my c squared. I would then square root both sides. Now because we're talking about like a length or a distance, we don't need to worry about the plus or minus. So I would just have my c is going to equal the square root of 149. If you'd like to dump that into your calculator and figure out the decimal, great, go for it. It should be like a little bit more than 12. I'd say like 12.1 something. So, but I'm just going to leave it as the square root of 149. Looking at the next problem, now we know what c is, so again, you can pick a or b, doesn't really matter. I'm going to do 9.7 squared plus b squared, and that's going to equal 13.3 squared. I'm just going to right away just subtract 9.7 squared. It may look a little goofy, but I can show you that on your calculator. You can just type it in exactly like you see it. So with the calculator here, I'm going to do 13.3 squared minus 9.7 squared, and you should end up with 82.8. But what I'm going to do is, if we want to be like totally like super duper mathematically proper here, is I'm actually going to convert that 82.8 into a fraction. So if you press the math button and then just press enter twice, that converts it to this b squared is going to equal 414 fifths, hey, repping the 414. And then now we're going to square root both sides. Again, don't worry about the plus or minus because we're talking about a length. And now the square root of 400, like what we can do is we can write this as the square root of 414 over the square root of 5, because that's what, when you square root the whole fraction, you can just square root the top, square root the bottom. But now this square root of 414 then actually simplifies. You can simplify that to 3 square root of 46, and that's still going to be over the square root of 5. And then if we rationalize our denominator, we're going to multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 5. So now it's like bringing all that stuff that we did in previous videos back in here. And so you could get 3 square root of 230 over 5 as like the totally 100% best possible answer. Or you could just take the square root of 82.8 and you should get something like 9.099. I'm going to leave mine as the mathematically most proper answer, but I will write off to the side here. B should be about 9.099 or 9.1 if you'd rather use that. And then looking at the last one here, very similar thing. I'm going to do 2.7 squared plus b squared, and that's going to equal 6.5 squared. I'm then going to just right away subtract the 2.7 squared on both sides. Again, if you want to like multiply that out, you can. It's just more work, and I'm lazy. If you dump that into the calculator, you should end up with 34.96. I then converted that to a fraction, and I got b squared equals 874 over 25. And then when I square root both sides, and this actually works out kind of nice because the square root of 25 is 5. So I end up with b equals the square root of 874 over just 5. And I believe the square root of 874, there isn't actually a whole lot that can be done to simplify that. So we're just going to leave it. If you want the decimal for that, that would be b is about 5 point, we'll say 913. So again, I hope you found this video helpful and hope you have a great day.